All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling the ninth key from Jean Benjour's Realities of Life, and it's a big one: taking responsibility. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but this isn't just about, owning your mistakes. It's way deeper. It's about a mindset shift that can literally change how you see and move through the world. So let's get into it. So let's just kick things off with a question that, let's be honest, probably all of us have asked at some point. What do you do when it feels like the rules are rigged? When it feels like you're playing a game, but the deck was stacked against you before you even sat down at the table? Well, to really dig into that question, we're going to follow the story of a guy named Elliot. See, for him, this wasn't just some abstract feeling. Oh no. The unfairness of life was a cold, hard fact, and he carried the proof of it with him everywhere, every single day, like heavy stones in his pockets, just weighing him down. So, what exactly were these stones in the pocket? Well, they were the crushing weight of a world he felt he had absolutely zero control over. A world of circumstances that just seemed designed to keep him down, no matter how hard he tried to swim upstream. And look, this wasn't just some vague feeling of being unlucky. His family just didn't have the resources. He'd watch his friends walk right through doors that were slammed shut in his face. And what happens when you see that day after day? Well, a deep resentment starts to build up, right? It became his constant companion, like a poison he was sipping on all day long. But then, something happened. A turning point. It was just a chance meeting, really. An encounter with an old man who offered him a totally new way of looking at his life. He told him a simple little story, a kind of parable, all about the real cost of blame. And this one line from the story, wow, it just hits Elliot like a lightning bolt. He realized he'd spent his entire life focused on the injustice. He was so busy collecting all these stones of blame that he hadn't left any room in his pockets or in his life for change, for action, for growth. He was trapped, yeah, but he was trapped by his own focus. And right there, that's the pivot. That's the turning point. He makes a conscious choice. He decides, okay, I'm done with this. He's going to release the blame. He's going to empty his pockets of those stones, and he's going to shift his entire focus onto the one small circle of things he could actually control. His effort, his attitude, his own actions. So, okay, let's fast forward a few years. And you know what? Elliot's new way of thinking? It's working. He's actually built a good life for himself, all through his own hard work. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? The greatest test of his new belief was just around the corner. A moment that was going to challenge everything, right down to its core. And I mean, you've got to respect the hustle here. This wasn't luck, this wasn't some handout. He worked the small jobs nobody else wanted. He saved every single penny. He studied his butt off. He didn't just charm his way in, he earned real, genuine respect because he was just competent. He got good at what he did. He had truly, finally, taken responsibility for his own path. And then it happened. After all that work, a big promotion opens up, a key management role, and on paper, on merit, he's the guy. It's not even a question. But the job goes to someone else. Not because they were better or more qualified. Nope. It went to someone with family money and connections. It was like the old, rigged rules just reached out and slapped him right across the face. The injustice was real, and man, it was painful. Elliot's story just perfectly captures this tension that so many of us feel. On one hand, there's this promise, right? The promise of meritocracy, this beautiful idea that the best person wins, that hard work pays off. But then there's the reality of privilege, the fact that connections and advantages can tilt the playing field, and that, let's face it, not everyone gets to start at the same place. So this is the real moment of truth, right? This is the crossroads for Elliot. What does he do now? Does he go right back to filling his pockets with those heavy stones of blame? Does he say, see, I was right all along. The world is rigged. Or does he find a different path forward? He chose growth. He absolutely chose growth. He didn't pretend it didn't hurt or that it wasn't unfair. He acknowledged all of that, but he flat out refused to let that injustice define him. Instead of just sinking back into bitterness, he actually doubled down. He got even better at his job. He started strategically building his own network, and I love this part, he started mentoring other people who were starting out just like he did. And this is the key takeaway, really. This is what true responsibility looks like. It's not about pretending unfairness doesn't exist. It's not about just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps when you don't even have boots. It's about a few things. It's about controlling what you can, fighting the things you must, lifting up the people you meet along the way, and most importantly, refusing to let unfairness write the final chapter of your story. So, that's Elliot's story. But, the whole point of exploring these keys isn't just to talk about fictional characters. It's about us. So now, let's shift the focus. Let's turn the camera from him to you. It's time to think about your own life and your own pockets.
And I really want you to think about this, just for a second. What stones are you carrying? What old resentments? What feelings of it's not fair? What stories of blame have you been lugging around with you? What's weighing you down right now?
All right, so here's your action cue. It's a simple 3-step process. First, just pick one thing. Identify one area where you feel blame or powerlessness. Second, just for today, make a conscious choice to release that stone. Just let go of the blame. And third, and this is the most important part, take one small, concrete action that is 100% within your control. And here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Taking responsibility for yourself, it isn't a selfish act. Not at all. Because when you choose growth over resentment, when you choose action over blame, it has this incredible ripple effect. You don't just start to change your own life. You start to inspire the people around you to do the same.